Hey everybody, welcome to the channel, glad to have you here. Today we have a beastmen versus greenskins matchup. And so, earlier on the channel you saw me take the beastmen against the greenskins. This time I took the greenskins against the beastmen to kind of see what I could do to, you know, flop. What I think is one of the matchups that's actually in favor of the beastmen. I think the beastmen have a ton of tools here to completely take down the greenskins. So, my army here is a huge line of savage orcs, as you know I love to bring. So I've got 6 of them across the middle. Behind here I've got 3 orc biggins spread out. For anti-large duty I also have 2 units of nasty skulkers. And I brought these guys so I could have some nice armor-piercing damage. And I put them in the back lines because I'm just going to throw them at any bestigors that my opponent brings, just to give some nice armor-piercing damage that isn't my heroes or my ranged troops. And my ranged troops here are the Rustiers and Night Goblin archers. And I was watching Turin's video, and I usually just bring a regular unit of Goblin archers because these guys are not really useful, but they do have stock just like these ones. So if you can have both of them hidden at the same time, it is actually a major benefit, and it can stop your opponent from even considering that you have ranged. So definitely have converted me to this kind of setup here. Of course, I also have 2 Orc Boar Boy Biggins because they're just so cost effective. And I have 2 Goblin Big Bosses, my good old Orc Shaman, and my Orc War Boss here on the boar. And this guy's amazing now because they gave him armor-piercing damage. So, definitely a super viable lord, and unless you want immunity to psychology, I'd bring this guy instead of Grimgor. But if you do know there's going to be a lot of terror on the field, I would probably bring Grimgor instead. So let's go over my opponent's army. He's got here, you can see a ton of Goreherd, or no, he's got 2 Goreherd, 2 Ungoreherd, and 2 Spearherd, and 2 Bestigorherd. You can see it's kind of mirrored on both sides. He also has 2 units of Minotaurs, a Giant, and 3 units of Minotaurs? 2 units of Minotaurs, a Chaos Spawn, and something you don't see very often in Malagor, the Dark Omen. So we're going to see some lore of Wild on the field today. And so he's going to be charging forward here. And with 2 rush armies, the battle never lasts too long. So you can see there, 3 minutes on that timer. He took a kind of like wide-ish stance, whereas I took more of a depth stance. We can watch the Minotaurs gore through these guys. Just send them flying. And they're going to just decimate these Savage Orcs. Savage Orcs have no chance in a fight against Minotaurs. Here we can watch the Chaos Spawn do it. Oh man, just like tossing those Savage Orcs. Some more Chaos Spawn. Physical resistance isn't really going to help you when you're just getting tossed across the map. And, of course, I'm instantly opening fire on the Giant with my 2 archer units. I need to get him off the field ASAP. And you can see I'm hitting these Chaos Spawn too, which does not hurt. And you can see just a massive brawl here. But you can see I already broke through my Savage Orcs. You can see, yeah, frightened by enemy unit, damage sustained. Yeah, that is not good. So they are quickly being sent flying, dropping a good foot of Gork there on some Bestigors. You can see just how quickly this Giant is dropping. But again, my Savage Orc main line just instantly routing. It's good I had these kind of biggins here in the back line and some nasty Skulkers coming in as well. You can just kind of watch this guy get shot to death. He does bring his pull through some of his troops, but that's why I have these Orc biggins here in reserve. And so they're going to be charging in and stopping these Minotaurs from really getting the best attacks here on my archers. And you can see here this guy's wavering as he charges. He's definitely not going to make it, with some biggins stabbing him in the toe. You can see my nasty skulkers routing with almost full health from just terror. And these savage orcs are gone as well. Some biggins in there. These chaos spawn are not going to like that matchup. Yeah, and these biggins are going to do some good work here. And they're going to do well against the Ungor herd. Over here, you can see the Ungor herd. Actually, I don't know. I must have gotten a weird charge off here with my savage orcs. They're coming into the side, it looks like, of these savage orcs. So they're kind of beating them. And right here, it's not looking too good. I have kind of isolated his giant, which is a big win for me. And I've gotten some good damage on these chaos spawn. But now he's pulling out a Cygor, spawning in my back lines. Try and support his his Minotaurs back here. And so, of course, I'm going to switch my Night Goblins over to this guy. If this guy ended up shooting, like throwing a rock at one of the backs of my infantry, it would be very, very bad. That extra penalty on morale from being hit by artillery is like 10. And so between that and terror, they would just rout off the field instantly. So this is a really, really big threat here for me. You can see he crashed through this left flank pretty easily, and he's coming through. He's got Minotaurs and Bestigors and Gerhard. In the middle, it's a little less clear who's winning. We've both got a lot of troops in there. But you can see on this right side, I've kind of stabilized and started to win. So we're going to both kind of fold in and start this battle for real here in the middle. As this Cygor just gets like machine gunned by this goblin firing line. Over here, the Orc Warboss is actually getting beat down by these Chaos Spawn, which is really surprising, and Bestigors. Figured he would kind of do better here, but they're getting some good damage on him. I had to proc my potion there. Oh, you can see the Cygor went down. And now, with that, I'm going to be able to start targeting these Chaos Spawn. I'm going to be starting to target these guys. And more importantly, I'm going to be switching over here for when these Minotaurs come back. He cleared up that fight here with his spear, so he got them back. But that delay there let me kind of win decisively here in the middle. I'm sorry about that, guys. My Orc Warboss running away here from the Minotaurs. I definitely don't want that fight. And I'm just going to be shooting in. And I got some nasty Skulkers in there. So this is definitely exactly where I want these Minotaurs. And you're going to see they're going to be dropping really quick. This is not a spot where they're going to be able to be cost effective, especially when they're getting their armor sundered by the Orc Archers. And so you can see there they're going to rout. Devolve coming down here, hitting my leadership. It's going to cause these guys to rout. But it's just a little bit too late. And my Orc Shaman sends Malagor to the hills. So that's kind of that. If you look here, this giant, 6 kills, got shut down by my firing line. One of these Bestigors is doing pretty well, and one of these Minotaurs is doing really well. This one just got focused down I think I threw one of my biggin units in against them, and they just managed to get some good damage there. And yeah, you can see these Chaos Spawn for 1,000 gold definitely underperformed, especially because they were fighting fodder units like Savage Orcs. So I presume that's where a lot of those kills come from, and they really didn't. I don't think they performed too well. The high attack of the Savage Orcs probably got too much damage on them too quickly for them to be cost effective. You can see my nasty Skulkers here doing absolutely nothing. Just too much terror on the field for them to be useful. I don't know if I'm going to bring them again. These Orc Biggins doing their job. You can see 3 of these Savage Orcs did pretty well. They were the ones fighting the spears on the flanks, I believe. And you can see, yeah, just not very many kills. My opponent kind of had a small army here, and a lot of it, 300 of it, got off the field. And so that's kind of represented here in the lack of kills. A lot of these guys got instantly terror routed off the field. And these goblin archers, we're really only targeting big targets, so you don't expect too many kills off of these guys. But great game to my opponent, and thanks for watching. That's that.